You know this road. You sit in this exact same traffic today, and you will sit in it tomorrow and for the next 30 years. Most people think about retirement the same way they think about winning the lottery, but common wisdom says it only happens to tech executives or trust fund kids. But the math actually says something entirely different. If you run the numbers on a completely average median salary, you can stop working a full decade before everyone else on the road around you. This diagram illustrates the standard career timeline. Watch what happens when we apply a specific variable. Saving 50% guarantees you retire in exactly 17 years. 18 years of mandatory alarm clocks, office politics, and evening commutes simply vanish from the schedule. If you start this process at age 30, you cross the finish line at 47. Financial independence is rarely the result of striking it rich. It is the result of aggressively compressing your timeline. To understand how this works, you have to look at the space between what you earn and what you consume. This is called the gap. This diagram shows the mechanics of that gap. When you save 50% of your income, two things happen at exactly the same time. Your investment balance grows rapidly, while the amount of money you actually need to survive drops and locks in place. Let's apply real numbers to this. The median household income in America is about $75,000. After taxes, that leaves about $58,000 a year. Saving half means you invest $29,000 and you live on the other $29,000. If you take that $29,000 and invest it every year at an average historical market return of 8%, you hit year 17 with a portfolio worth $957,000. Because you already proved you can happily exist on half your income, the total mountain of cash you need to reach true financial independence is cut in half. This calculation proves the concept using the 4% rule. The 4% rule is a retirement guideline showing the maximum percentage you can safely withdraw from your investments each year without running out of money. Pulling 4% from a $957,000 portfolio gives you $38,280 a year. But remember, your lifestyle only costs $29,000. You are overfunded by more than $9,000 every single year. Compare that math to the standard advice. A typical worker saving 15% of that same $58,000 income invests about $8,700 a year. After 35 years of compounding, they end up with significantly more money, about $1.49 million, but they traded an extra 18 years of their life to a paycheck to get it. And because they spent 85% of their income for 3 decades, their lifestyle inflated. They now require over $49,000 a year just to keep the lights on and maintain the standard of living they grew used to. This sliding scale illustrates how the math adapts to different behaviors. Drop your savings rate to 30% and you retire in 28 years. Hit 40%, it takes 22 years. Push it to 60% and you are completely finished working in 12 years. The total size of your bank account is a distraction. The gap between what you earn and what you spend dictates exactly how many mandatory working years you have left. The immediate objection to all this math is that living on 50% of a median salary sounds like a miserable existence. A couple earning $75,000 doesn't have to eat rice and beans in the dark. They keep their rent at $1,200 a month instead of $2,000. They drive older, reliable cars that are completely paid off, and they cook their meals at home. When you look at these two financial footprints side by side, one is eaten up by heavy bank loans and maxed out rent. The other life doesn't look desperate at all. It looks highly deliberate. It avoids the slow creep of lifestyle inflation. Controlling those two massive expenses, housing and transportation, is the specific discipline that moves the finish line from age 65 back to 47. Take a look at your own savings rate right now. Comment the words "closer than I thought" if your current math puts you ahead of that traditional 65-year schedule. Once you start this process, your wealth begins to generate its own gravity. In the next video in the series, we will break down the massive momentum shift that takes over your portfolio the moment you cross the $200,000 mark. You do not need a 6-figure salary, and you do not need an inheritance. Early retirement is a solvable math problem, and the solution sits right here. Your timeline is simply your income minus your lifestyle.